Hey guys, just want to go today over bike building. For those people who haven't built bikes before and are very new to bike building, just want to go over a couple of points and things which may help you out as you go along. Now the first thing you want to do before you start actually building a bike is do some research. What I'll often do before I take on any bike project is I'll go over the internet, go over Google Images and just have a look for the type of bike which I like and the type of bike I'd want to build. And that's pretty much where I start from. Once you find that bike that you want to build, look, there's a lot of parts makers in SL. I suggest go around to all of them. Every different parts maker's got something different to offer. You know, no two parts makers are the same. No two parts are really made the same if you go and have a look. You know, everyone who makes parts has got their own style and everything like that, and their own qualities and everything. So go and check out all the parts makers and just find the right parts you're going to need to actually complete the bike which you want to build, which you've found. All right. So now the next thing you want to do when you've got your picture and you know you've got all the parts you want, and you want to start building your bike. So next thing what you want to do, just a sec. Okay, I've already got my bike lift here, but what we'll do is we will create a square prim. Okay, now with this square prim, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it sideways. Okay, and I'm going to stretch it out. Okay, and I'll explain what I'm doing in just a second. I'm going to texture it green like I always do. I don't know why I love green. Okay, blank that one, select, and I'll make it full bright. Alright, what this is for is really quite important when you're building. When you're building bikes, you really want everything to line up. There's nothing worse than looking at a bike where your wheels on one side, you know, it's out of place, it's all out of whack, nothing's lined up and even. So if you set up a green board like I have here, and what we'll do, if you see the bike lift, now the red axis, which is X, is at 70, okay? So control copy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also make our green board at 70 axis, and we will then go and make it 190. Control copy, which is 190. So what we've done, or what I've done here, is I've made this board right in the middle. So now I've got my line of what I'm going to be working off of as I bring my parts out. Okay, as I said, it's going to keep your bike all nicely lined up and everything in order, because you know it can just be such a hassle when you're trying to work sizes out and everything later on. All right, now the other thing I'm doing today is I'm using, if you look over here, this is the Parts Rezzer and Organizer, the Sin City Parts Rezzer and Organizer. So what I've done is I've actually loaded all the parts into that, and you'll see today as we go through. It's just going to make it a lot easier, a lot simpler for everything we're doing. Alright, so now first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the frame. So I'll grab out the frame, I want the old school. Alright, here it comes. Now another thing I do, which you're going to notice, is I'm going to build the bike in an east facing direction. And I do this, so I'm just going to line everything up while I talk. And the reason I do that is because when you're scripting, you want your bike facing east. Okay, you're going to need it facing east to start with anyway. Alright, so there we go. So now we've got our frame out, so that's great. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the y-axis, which is, if you remember, it's over here. It's 190. So, and we're going to put our frame at 190 as well on the y-axis. Alright. Oh, hang on, wrong buttons. Alright, so you can see now that's going right through the dead center frame. So it's just going to allow us to make sure we keep this all lined up nicely. So next I'm going to grab out is the forks, and we'll grab the front end. And we'll just start dragging this over as it's all rezzing out. Okay. Now, I'm going to rotate that around. And we're going to pull him back. Alright, now we'll put him in position. Now, remember again, we want that at 190, okay? So, off my center, control copy, and 190. make sure, and you can see the rotation's not correct because she's not lining up. See that? Well, hang on, we'll just raise her up a bit. She needs to come up. So we will just line her up a little bit. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we've got our frame and we've got our front end all set up. Okay, so what I might do though is I will link these together now. Okay, because we know they're dead even in the middle, so we don't really want them to sort of slide off like if we're doing something. All right, next thing I'm going to bring out is the rear wheel. So that's just this over here. Now you sort of get to see how easy it is, how easy it becomes with the parts Rezzer when you're trying to get all your parts out. All right, so we'll bring you there, Mr. Wheel, and we'll put you in the right position. Okay, now remember, once again, we want that at 190. On the y-axis. Okay, so but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up here and I'm going to start manipulating my frame so that we know it's going to be at just the right spot. Okay. Alright, so now I'll grab out the front wheel. Now, just one thing you want to keep in mind too. I've put the centerboard on an axis of what it's at 190 at the moment. If you use these whole numbers, it just makes it a lot easier. Like for example, we've got red is set the base, the bike lift is at x axis 70, and the y axis 90. Just makes it a lot simpler to maneuver everything and make sure everything's running right. Okay, we'll put this one here. Slide him into position. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill around with a bit. Oh, damn it. Where do we go? Here we are. These things happen from time to time, and those are sort of the times when you'll actually find that you're not sure. They're the times you'll find where you'll move stuff and it'll go in totally the wrong place where you don't want it to go. Alright, so that's cool. I'm happy with that. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, so now as you can see, we've now got you know, the starts to a nice looking bike sort of going on here. Actually, I might actually move this down. I just like to have everything like really nicely lined up, rather than, and I'll link them for now, and then we can move it to there and back to there, and I'll link this wheel. Okay, so what I'll put on next is the handlebars. So we'll just grab them out. Gee, this parts Rezzer makes it so much easier. You can just grab the bits you need and bring them all across. Okay, so 0. And we're going to put him at 190 again. 190.0. We'll raise them up into place. And then I usually just, as you can see, I just use this to, you know, sometimes I like to have it in a bit of a different position or a different ways, so I just go at it this way. Okay, handlebars are set. Okay, link. Next, I'll put in the engine. So where's the engines? But one thing you're going to notice is that the whole bike is lined up. Anything you see on there, for example, that I'll go through here, frame is at 190 on the y-axis. Front ends 190 on the y-axis. You know, the wheels are 190 on the y-axis. Even the handlebars are. It's just, as I said, keeps your bike straight, looking good, and a lot easier to work with when you come to other stages. Like you're working with your posers and you're wondering why aren't the posers going in straight and sitting straight? Well, maybe it's because the seat's off centered, So we'll put our engine in and gearbox 190 as well. Okay, just move him up there, link him in. I like to link him in because if you do need to unlink, or if you stuff around, like say for example we did something like that and then oops, okay, well you know what, I already remember that's at 190, everything's linked in at 190, I can just go 90 and everything's back together. Okay, so next I'll put on the, where we got, exhaust. Okay, because every bike needs exhausts. And see, I just move everything slowly into position, just to where I sort of want it to be. Or, like you'll have your photos of the bike you're building, or if you've bought the first bike builder's kit, you'll have all these photos and everything ready to go. So you'll know exactly what you're looking for and where you're looking to put everything. Put some of these into most of the parts, as you see, into the Parts Rezzer, but when I did it at an angle, so that's why they've rezzed out on an angle like that. But there we go, so we've got the pipes now. I like to bring them nice side of the frame there. So we'll grab that one, we're linking that one together. Okay, so next thing we'll do, I think, is we'll grab the gas tank. But you'll always sort of maneuver everything into the position where you want it anyway. So once again, 190. So but in saying this as well, everyone builds different. This is what you're seeing is the way I build. You're going to probably build totally different to what I do. Everyone does the same. Sorry, doesn't do the same. Everyone does a bit different. All right, now what do we got? Okay, I'm going to use this seat now. So I'll just link that one first. Link it. Where's the seat? Is that it there? There it is. So yeah, I guess really the most important thing when you are building a bike is just making sure that everything lines up. 90. And the other thing is you want to keep everything in the right position. I've seen bikes that have been built before, and or one bike in particular, it had the suicide shift, but it was attached to the engine head. This is why if you're planning to sell the bikes you build, you want it to be so that people are going to like it. And people, the guys here in Second Life, they want to have a nice bike that they can ride. They want to show off to their friends with their bikes, and that and show their friends what a great bike they got. And the thing is, if you've really put in the homework and done that research to find that bike, it's you who they're going to be talking about because you'll be the bike builder that's built this bike. All right, so I'm just putting a sissy bar on there now. And like that. Okay, so look, I think you've got the fair idea of how to build a bike now after that. But that's how we build a bike in Second Life, and how we put them all together. One other thing is with the Parts Rezzer and Organizer, for example, you can see now that this is a half completed project. Now, if I go next page on here, if you look at this box here, so for example, this bike, it's called Old School. What I can do is I can take it, I can actually put it into this projects part of the Parts Rezzer, and it's really simple to do. You simply just edit link path, you click on the projects, go to contents, and drag the bike from your inventory and put it in there. Now the bike's stored in there, so for next time I want it, next time I want the bike, I just click on there, and it'll bring up the bike there. I'd go okay, and it'll res the bike out. So even though I haven't finished it, you know, if I'm in a place where I don't have many prims to use and I have to, you know, move prims around, I can keep my bikes half done, or as a work in progress in the parts Rezzer. Alright guys, as I said in the beginning, two of the real main important things is, you know, or a few things is, always do your research, always make sure your bikes are centered and lined up in the center, okay? And really just take your time, you know, don't rush it. If it takes a week, it's great. If it takes 5 weeks, great. Doesn't matter. Just do the best you can, and I'm sure everyone is going to love the bikes that you build. Thanks.